Alright, so in this tutorial, we're going to be installing packages using Chocolatey. So we are going to first of all install Chocolatey. Then we use Chocolatey to install other packages or softwares. So basically, there are two approaches. The first approach is to install directly from the official website. So for example, if you're installing Visual Studio Code, you go to the official website of Visual Studio Code to install it, or whatever software or command line tools, right? So but I'm going to use the second approach, which is using Chocolatey. So for the first approach, so for example, if you want to install vscode, for example, you just have to search Visual Studio Code, enter, and there you have it. And you can install it. You can click on this and install it. But I'm not going to adopt this approach. I'm going to go for the second approach, which is using Chocolatey. So for that, I'm going to search for Chocolatey with a Y. And I'm going to click on this and do some settings, right? So I'm going to get started. So if this is your first time of using Chocolatey, you have to actually do some basic settings. Things install. All right, so following the instruction, you're going to actually install Chocolatey. So first and first, you want to actually run Chocolatey with PowerShell, but as an administrator. So I'm going to search PowerShell, and now I'm going to run as PowerShell. And I'm going to run as administrator. Yes. And I'm going to run this as suggested. Yes, this, enter. It says restricted. So if it says restricted, then do this. So we'll copy this and go back again and paste it here. Enter. Then say the execution policy. I'm just going to go for A. Okay, it's A. It says now you have to paste this in your terminal. So I'm going to paste this now. Enter. And this will take a couple of minutes. Let's check if it's installed. I have only Choco and enter. Let me check. So this is the version anyway. So we're on a good track. So now we can install softwares or packages. So I'm going to look for packages. And the first package I want to install is Git. Normally I go for the one with the highest downloads. So this one is more reasonable. I'm just going to copy this and paste in my terminal. Paste. So I'm going to enter. Now the reason why I'm using Chocolatey is that it helps us to manage our software or packages, because we can easily just use commands to upgrade or uninstall or even update Chocolatey itself instead of managing it manually on our own. So I'm going to just type A, So accept all and enter. All right, so it's installed. So Git is installed. So you can check Git -v. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close this terminal here and open it again. I'll open another terminal. Let's say command prompt. You can also run as administrator in your command prompt if you want to, instead of using PowerShell. So I'm going to just run that command again, git -v. Yeah. All right, so there are a couple of other softwares we can install. So I'm going to go back and install Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio. I'll just type vscode. All right. Yeah, here we have it. So I'm going to click on this. Or rather, I'm going to click on this because it has more downloads. So I'm going to just copy this, and I can't use this terminal because it's not an illustrator terminal. So I'm going to, let me see. I'm going to close it and open PowerShell or command prompt if you want to. Run as administrator, yes. Paste and enter. Although you can do Choco install vscode then -y to install the software in order to avoid these prompts, these questions here. So let's go to that enter. All right, so you'll see that we've actually installed Git. Now you search Git, you'll see we have Git installed, Git bash. And we can uninstall at any point. So if you want to, you can just, check the commands anytime you want and uninstall. Or upgrade if you want to, which is super easy, instead of doing it manually on your own. Good. So let me check if Visual Studio Code is installed. It's installed. Good. So I'm going to expand this and good. Ctrl J to open the integrated terminal, or Command J if you are using macOS. So what I want to do next is to install NVM. So I'm just going to go back to the browser and check if actually Chocolatey has NVM. I'm not too sure. So that we can install it directly from Chocolatey. NVM. It has, let's see. Let's check if there's any issue. All right, so package approved. So we are good to go. We can actually use this. But before we do that, I want to show you how to install all dependencies and packages using Chocolatey all at once, just to automate your installation process in development, especially when you are working with different teams. There are different approaches anyway. You can actually install 2 or more dependency by just saying, for example, Choco install, say, Git, vscode, and so on and so forth. But we want to have one in our environment setup in our VS Code. So for that, I'm going to a GitHub repository. Then I'm coming to config. All right, so I'm going to seed into documents. Then make a directory, call it Express app. CD into Express app. Open code. All right, so I'm going to actually create this file here, paste this. Yeah, so this file name can be called anything. Just make sure you have the .config. So I'm going back to the repository, Windows. I'm going to copy this. Save. And now I can install all the packages I want. You can install it by just doing this Choco install Git, GH, and the likes. So what if there are lots of packages in this file? It will take a long time to just write a whole lot of commands. So, all right, so I'm going to install the package or the packages, all of these packages, but I'm not going to install it here. I'm going to the PowerShell and I'm going to run as administrator. To this, enter, good. I'm going to copy this. And paste, enter. And by the way, you can actually check out the blog for this and get more information on how to use Chocolatey. So if you go to dev.to/hello, you can see other commands. Like you can also search. We have Choco search. Yeah, we have Choco search, Git. And we also have a Choco GUI, Chocolatey GUI. I think, yeah, we have Chocolatey GUI here. We can install it if you like the GUI approach. As a visual approach of installing packages instead of using a command. So this is why I said I could have just used the -y flag to avoid this prompt questions. Yeah. So anytime it wants to install a package, it's going to ask me or prompt me a question. All right, so it has done installing all the packages I need. I think I actually installed the wrong package. Well, the one I want to install is the terminal software. So I'm going to, let's go to the official website to confirm. Okay, so I'm actually going to install that. I think it's the wrong software I installed. Okay, so I'm going to install it. Alright, so I'll just use this command instead to install it and press enter. So it's successfully installed up. Alright, so if this process doesn't work for you, then you can just download it directly by clicking on the download button here. Alright, so I'm going to check on NVM to see if it's installed. So I'm going to the command prompt. So I'm going to say NVM-v. Alright, so it's installed. So let's check if we have Node installed. We don't have Node installed, so we can install Node from Chocolatey if you want to. So if I go to Node, so you can actually install this one here. But I'm not going to install Node like this. I'm going to install it via NVM. So you can see NVM install Node. Or if you want the long-term support, then go to LTS. So if you go to official website of Node, you'll notice that we have this version here, the long-term support, which is what we're installing right now. And we have this version. That is, if we use the Choco install node, this is the version that's going to be installed. Or if we use the Choco install LTS, this is the version that's going to be installed. So as you can see, so for example, if we say NVM install node, we are going to be installing this version 24.40 as of the time I'm recording this video, as you can see. So instead of you manually installing it on your own, you can just do this, because we can actually switch to different versions of Node. So now if I say NVM ls to list all versions, you can see these are the two versions. I can uninstall the particular version, so you can say NVM uninstall Node, as you can see. Now I can say NVM, or I can say Node-v. Then I have to do NVM use LTS. Yeah, so now I'll say Node-v. As you can see, now we have Node installed. Now, if we installed Node outside of NVM, so for example, use Choco, or we install it directly from the official website, then we can say Node use system. So this is going to throw an error because we didn't install Node from Chocolatey or from the official website.